Welcome to Respawn Aim Fire, the kick-ass retro gaming podcast from RAF Idiots. I'm going to be your host, Adam. I've got a couple things to say, Gumbert, but I just got to get through this because apparently things are happening in the video. Today we're joined by, with me, the guest of the show, co-host, Chad Michael Ennis.
I was here. I am talking on the show. My microphone is on. I cannot stop talking on the show. This is me talking, and I'm talking now. This was the choice I made to talk on the show.
Chad thought he was being clever in the opening, but in fact... and we also have Alex, It's Dark in Here, Cozina.
Hip, hip, and toodaloo, my podcast hosts, and whatever weird things they say over here in London. As you know, if you had listened to the previous episode of Respawning Fire, they deported me to ye olde England because of... Yeah, ported me, not deported, ported. It's more efficient that way. And so, yeah, I've been stuck here. It's been weird because I was in London over the summer. You know, I had a great time there as a tourist. And when they said, hey, we're porting you to London, I'm like, I mean, I'm not upset about that because it seemed like a totally nice city that I could see myself living in if I needed to. But yeah, I guess this is where I'm at now.
It's so funny. He looks like he's like a man on the street, you know? It's not just like... reporting live from where the only picture that people take of London. You can catch us live on twitch.tv/AppleIdiot Sunday evenings at 8:30. YouTube and podcast services at 9 a.m. I've got two things before Cozy gets to a thing before we get to our stories. By the way, it's Thanksgiving week in America.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe not a lot of news happens when it's Thanksgiving. It's fine. Hang out with us. First thing first. When I first... not everyone knows. So whenever we get on here, a lot of us, we jump on Twitch so we can moderate the chat. So if you're here on twitch.tv/AppleIdiots, Sunday evenings live, we can talk to you. But every time I load up Twitch, it's always funny because I'm like, what's on the front page? Because it's always at least one person playing piano. You know, we make a joke about it. When I turned it on this time, the first thing it showed me was a VTuber, which, you know, is a person who has like an anime person instead of their real face.
Right.
This fucking... I turned it on at the exact moment that I guess there was a glitch, and one of the boobs on the VTuber was bouncing just like comically long. Like up above the head and then back down and back
Why
and
are we
forth.
streaming this? We should just restream that.
It was hilarious. And the other thing is also, why do they call it the Little Death? Like, that sounds way worse than what it actually is.
What is the Little Death?
Google it, kids.
I'm Googling it. Should I private browser this?
No, you're fine. You're an adult. You don't have
What
anything to
is
worry
the
about.
Little Death? La Petite Mort.
Oh, wow. You said it in French.
Yeah, and you actually...
That's what comes up. That's the very first...
You didn't pronounce the T, which is actually how you're supposed to pronounce it.
Bitch, I know. I know how many letters you're supposed... There are only actually 3 letters in French. Everything else is silent.
Have you figured out what it is?
The brief loss or weakening of consciousness.
When you...
The sensation of post-orgasm as likened to death. Okay.
Which is a weird way to look at it. It's like, I'm dead. You know? Anyways, moving on. Before we get to main quest, somebody has something they want to talk about.
It's a 2014 movie.
Yes. And it is a 2014 movie. Yes. Thank you, Adam. Recently, Kind of Funny, which is a YouTube/entertainment channel that we all love and adore, announced that they are doing their next round of their up-and-comer program, which is where they will be shipping out people from all over the world, although likely just the United States of America, to come and participate in some of the activities that they do at their San Francisco-based office for a week. This is primarily a kind of portfolio building exercise. The people that, you know, go to this don't necessarily go to work for Kind of Funny afterwards, although the last time they did this, Blessing Adeoye Jr. was one of the up-and-comers, and now he's one of the faces of the company. So it potentially is like a pretty major opportunity if you're someone who is looking to advance their video internet fun time career like me. I am throwing my hat in the ring to participate in the Kind of Funny up-and-comer for the year 2024. However, and I want to be very, very clear on this point, I am not applying to to be an on-camera personality guy. I'm applying to be a behind-the-scenes, running the show's tech kind of guy, akin to what Kevin Coelho or Barrett Courtney do on those various shows. I want to be the kind of guy who's pushing all the levers and knobs behind the scenes, making sure that the stream is running okay, because to be honest, like, while I consider myself to be a decent host, I think that where my passion really lies is in the nitty-gritty minutia of coming up with the best and most kick-ass, most technologically impressive, like, OBS stream that you can possibly muster. If you're familiar with me from any of my past work on Press YYZ, the Cozy Bear baking streams, cooking streams, you'll know that those streams in particular feature a lot of fancy schmancy effects that took a lot of time, but were definitely a labor of love on my part, because I really care about streams that really kind of push the medium as much as possible technologically. And so, yeah, if you've enjoyed the content that I've done over the years, you can go to kindoffunny.com/upandcomer, and it would mean the world if you nominated me, told them, hey, this Cozy Bear fellow really wants to do cool behind the scenes shit at your company, akin to what Kevin and Barrett do. He's real good with OBS. You can refer to some of my work on Press YYZ, my personal Twitch channel, or here on Respawning Fire. If they want some references, you can definitely point to some of the recent game show videos that we did, because I think those definitely speak to, again, my talents, my prowess, my passion for the medium of OBS, as it were. Of course, this is obviously all voluntary. I do want to mention, on the video in which they announced that they were doing this up-and-comer thing once more, they very much were like, hey, we don't really want people to be campaigning for the up-and-comer nominations this year like they did in years past. I don't know if you guys remember, but last time they did it, just before the pandemic struck, like, it got a little bit out of control with, like, the amount of, like, crazy, like, presidential stump speeches people were giving to receive the nomination. I actually did. You can go to my personal YouTube channel, which is just Cozy Bear, and you can find 3 Kazina for Kinda Funny directs that I did, which were Nintendo Direct style videos in which I did, like, the whole Nintendo Direct transition-y thing and basically gave, like, 7-minute long speeches explaining, well, this is what I would do over at Kinda Funny. And yeah, those were interesting to make, but I will not be doing anything akin to that. I will be continuing to do the things I always do, participating in Respawning Fire, maybe even doing some of my own Twitch stuff, but I will not be going out of my way to be like, hey, here's content I'm specifically making for the campaign trail.
100%. Let's get Cozy to freaking San Francisco and help become the next Kevin Coelho. Second thing, if you go to youtube.com/@CozyBear, there are 3 campaign videos, but they are about 30 to 45 second clips of this girl named Nani, who one of them says, Nani, había un chorito? One of them says, Nani, where is Thumpkin? It's this little girl. She has 6 subscribers, and these are all posted 16 years ago.
I don't think I made any of those videos. If you link to those in your nominations for me, I don't think that they will take too kindly to that. I think they'll be very confused. But I guess I can't stop you either. So yeah.
Oh, am I spelling Cozy Bear is Kozibear, right?
One word. Yep.
Yes.
It popped up for me.
No way. I'm gonna put this in our Discord here real quick, and this is gonna fuck up the stream for a half a second. But this is what I'm seeing when I go to youtube.com/CozyBear.
Mm-hmm. By the way, yes, everyone. Wow, that's wild. Everyone go check out Cozy Bear, give him a nomination. I would say just look at the game shows to be like, oh yeah, this guy is good at that thing. I will now look at this link.
How does that show up differently for us?
I don't know. I will say, if you want, like, the specific, like, my name on YouTube is Cozy Bear, but, like, the specific version of it with the numbers after it is @CozyBear7231. I don't know if that helps or not. Twitch is twitch.tv/CozyBearLive, of course.
Okay, you do need the numbers, yeah. 7231.
Yeah, I found them. I cannot wait to watch these once we're done. Anyways.
Jumping off of that, speaking of Twitch, a couple of days ago, went over on Twitter and said, hey, Say I returned to streaming on my personal Twitch channel at some point in the near future. What would you be most interested in watching me do? And I made a little poll. I put baking as one option. I put playing Pokemon mods as a second option. And I put building Bionicles as my third option. And 64% of you that participated in the poll said, we want to see you do baking. So you know what? I think that cooking with Cozy Bear might be coming back.
Ooh, child, things are going to get easier.
But I don't have any timeline for exactly when to expect it back. I want this to be done right. I want this to be a professional product that everyone will be able to appreciate. And I want it to be something that isn't going to kill me because I impose an arbitrary date by which I have to have it up and running. So look forward to it, but understand that if a week from now I'm like, yeah, I still don't have any news on when to expect it, it's not because I'm sitting on my ass not working on it. It's because I don't want to tire myself out, because that's definitely what happened first time around and why I stopped doing those streams earlier in the year. So yeah, but look forward to it.
How are you integrating Bionicles into your baking? Can it be a Bionicles only baking stream somehow?
So back when I did the cooking streams, back in the day during the first few runs, what I would do is I had a prize wheel, and basically I allowed people to make me spin the prize wheel if they subbed a certain amount or if they redeemed a channel point reward. And one of the spots on the prize wheel was read from one of the Bionicle books. And so I would read a little bit from the Bionicle book at a time. And I thought when I was kind of toying around with the idea of bringing these streams back, I was like, what if I just do a series of streams in which I just read the books from front to back? But apparently that gets into some icky copyright stuff. I decided to forego that. There will still be Bionicles featured on the streams, but I don't have any specific details yet on how they will be integrated.
Put them in the pie. Put the pieces of the Bionicles in your pies. Good stuff.
So that's what it is. It's a dessert. You package it, you bite into it, and you get each piece of the Bionicle in a different Swiss cake roll or a little demi thing.
I want this for the record. 2 of my cakes growing up were both Bionicle themed cakes at my birthday parties. I don't have any pictures of them right here. I definitely 100,000% need to find those photos because they exist and they were great.
They're back in Canada. All right. Moving on to our main quest. Thank you, Cozy, for all that. Everyone check them out. Good stuff. Rumors on Switch 2 Power from Charlie. How do you say that last name, Chad?
Watch my holes.
Charlie at IGN. Sources have reportedly told Digital Foundry that the custom NVIDIA T239 chip, rumored to be in the next iteration of Nintendo Switch, does not include deep learning accelerator capability, which may have a big impact on its DLSS upscaling capabilities. With DLA, DLSS upscaling would be effectively be free, or at least required quite a bit less CPU power. Without it, the Switch 2 may be limited to 1080p or possibly 1440p if you're lucky, depending on the game. These estimations are based on broad equivalent hardware and remain far from confirmed. However, it potentially puts a dent in Switch 2's capabilities, which have been rumored to be in the range of the Xbox Series S. A lot of mumbo jumbo and a lot of just we're taking what's already out on the market and applying it. But maybe not 4K for Switch 2.
It's Walkholes. Everyone on the Twitch stream heard me click the howtopronounce.com link, but you guys did not. So it's Walkholes.
Charlie Walkholes. Sorry about that. Just some rumors in Digital Foundry. Again, those are guys you trust over there doing some work about Switch 2 might still not be a 4K console, but probably doesn't matter. But
yeah,
that's
and the fact of the matter is, I feel like this is a little bit more in line with what we should have expected out of a Switch 2 to begin with. When we got all those rumors that Nintendo was relying on the power of AI to bring breathtaking experiences like the Matrix demo to the Switch 2, it was like, wow, this is really cool, and this is very anti-Nintendo. It'd be great if this is true, but there's reason to be doubtful, and it seems like those doubts are now coming to pass. But that doesn't mean the Switch 2 won't still be, decent looking, but we'll see.
I don't think that the Switch is any serious gamer's main console. I don't think that it's anyone's this is how I play any and all of my games, and I'm a gamer through and through. Capital GVMERS gamers. That's not that. That was the YouTube channel that Alex used to write for.
It is.
So with that being said, like, this might be the smart move. No one's buying a Nintendo Switch for the 4K raw processing power. If you are a hardcore gamer, you're buying it kind of for the portability of it, right? And portability, I mean, even the 8-inch screen on the PlayStation Portal is still 1080p. You might not need it to be 4K. And with that, you do get more freedom for larger assets, for better ray tracing capabilities, for all of these other things that you can do more of at 1080p that you wouldn't be able to do necessarily at 4K to make this a more viable handheld machine. And maybe Nintendo has a lot of like user data on like docked usage versus handheld usage, and maybe they're like, you know, leaning towards that for a specific reason. But this might be the right move. It's easy to make fun of Nintendo for not being 4K, even though that's been the standard for so long now. But it might be the right move for them.
I think it's just important to make sure that DLSS works on it, just so, again, yeah, I'm with you. It doesn't need to be 4K, but being able to have common stuff run on it would be nice. So I think it'd be nice to have that technology in there.
I don't think we're going to get to a place where Nintendo makes a game that's easy to use on their system. They've never done it. Mm-hmm. Porting something to the Nintendo has always been, like the Nintendo Wii had a completely different studio and a completely different game for Spider-Man 3 than your Xbox 360 or PS3 did. We're never going to get to a point where it's like, oh yeah, we can just use the same stuff and it's an x64 architecture and we're just going to lower the settings for Nintendo Switch. They're going to make you do some shitty porting service for it. Mm-hmm. So I don't think DLSS or even any kind of like machine learning accelerating hardware is going to be on the chip at all. And so they're gonna force you to do it with that or with cloud versions. Hopefully this like cuts out the cloud versions and makes things run more natively. But yeah, you're definitely gonna have to still do some work on it.
Well, if it's an NVIDIA chip, it would have DLSS capability, just because it's an NVIDIA chip, right?
Oh, not necessarily. I mean, the Nintendo Switch right now runs on an NVIDIA chip. DLSS specifically is an NVIDIA feature, like it is developed by them, but there are similar features from other companies. Like AMD has, I forget what AMD's is called, but...
Oh, what's it called? FDR or something? Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. I do when, again, it doesn't matter, they'll be fine. It will be cool if they can take advantage of any of that and do it for their own games, because, you know, Nintendo's good at making their own stuff look good.
Yeah.
Just imagine if Mario, like, you could see the beads of sweat on him, you know?
Yeah. I'll be honest, even playing Super Mario RPG, I was like, there are some times when, like, the text is a little fuzzy. Or, like, I would love if that shit was more crisp.
Just clean those edges up, for sure. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to playtime. Talking about playtime, because that is the time that you played stuff. Chad, you can go ahead and go first. Why not? Wait a minute. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
We're going to do your guys' Alan Wake stuff at the end, because you guys both played it, so you do that together.
At the end of at the end of playtime or at the end of...
At the end of playtime.
Okay.
So go ahead with your other thing that you played. Alex will go to his other thing that he played, and then we'll end on Alan Wake 2. Because I only played more Baldur's Gate 3. There's more to say. It's a fantastic fucking game. It's the greatest game. You know, real quick, I think the reason I like it so much is because it's like Mass Effect.
Oh, shit.
All the character party stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, this is why people like Mass Effect, because get to talk with all these people and have relationships. But anyways, you go ahead and go on to your thing, Chad, and then Cozy, and then we'll end with Alan Wake 2.
I bought a $1 Game Pass Ultimate subscription for 14 days and used that to knock out one half of my barf for the Podigoti season and played Hi-Fi Rush. And I played about, I don't know, 3.5 hours of Hi-Fi Rush, got through, there's this volcano type location, I think it's like the third world or something like that, and was not into this game a lot. It seems like something that should be right up my alley. The art style is really, really great. The rhythm and music being at the core of the entire experience seems like it would be right up my alley, but there were just a few things that felt off to me. that I couldn't do it. There was not enough latency to like cause a bad experience, but the fact that you're in this game, you're running through these levels, which are basic, like really simple, like Ratchet and Clank type platforming levels, right? You're like doing some basic platforming, jumping from thing to thing. You get to an arena, you fight some people, you move to the next one. There is like light elements of like a high action, stylish action game like Bayonetta or Devil May Cry, and that you're building up your combo meter, you're trying to go as long as you can without getting hit, and you're trying to do different combos with your music-based attacks in order to get a better score. But it feels like basic versions of both of those, like not really engaging platforming, not super engaging combat. But the thing that just turned me off to it entirely was the fact that your button press does not equal a swing on the beat that you press it. And so the whole time, the music is going in 4/4, right? And the combos generally take place in a 4/4, or if you do like your timed bonus thing, it's like in a 2-bar, so like 8 beats. So I'm pushing I'm pushing X 4 times, but instead of hitting it on beat 1, 2, 3, 4 with the strong downbeat like I'm doing it, it's hitting on beats 2, 3, 4, 5, or 2, 3, 4, 1 of the next measure. And so it just feels off. And then by the time I hit the final hit on the 1 of the next measure, I can't feel like I can do anything for more, like 3 more beats, because it feels weird and unnatural to not start an attack on a downbeat. So that I couldn't get used to it. I just played it for several hours, got through a lot of the game, and I just could not get used to the fact that me hitting the button did not equal an attack for sometimes up to, because it also does it like the next available beat is when your attack will hit. So if I hit it late, like not in rhythm, then it might be right after that. But if I hit it on the beat, then it's going to wait an entire beat. So that could be as much as a second delays. And so yeah, I just couldn't get into it. Everything was a little bit basic. The humor didn't really hit for me. It felt like a Saturday morning cartoon, like it would be funny for kids watching it, but it just didn't land with me. And yeah, the rhythm part of it just bugged me a lot. Felt weird and icky and gross.
This is a game that, upon its release early in the year, garnered, incredible accolades. I remember way back when people saying, wow, game of the year might already be here, and it's called Hi-Fi Rush. After your time with the game, do you feel like you can see what people were referring to when they said that while admitting that it wasn't for you? Or are you like, do you feel like it was just more the kind of surprise of like how unexpected and, solid of an experience it was in the moment, kind of like supercharged people's like overall opinion on it, and that with some distance, the game probably was not deserving of the praise it got in the moment?
I think part of it is because it came out so early in the year that there wasn't much out, and we also didn't know a lot of what was coming out the rest of the year. I mean, we knew Starfield, we knew Baldur's Gate, but like we didn't know the rest of it. So maybe people were just like, oh shit, like this could be a contender. It also might be that by the end of the game, some wild narrative stuff happens. From what I could tell, though, it seems like it's, you went in to go get a cool robot part, and there's company who's like looking to control everyone who has robot parts, but they have a secret agenda, and it like is not, it's very cartoon villain type stuff. So I don't know. It's a novel enough idea that I think, and it was new and fresh. Just for me, it wasn't well executed. And maybe it wouldn't bug people who aren't as musically inclined as I am. I play a stupid amount of instruments, and I'm super great at Beat Saber. So maybe if like you don't know what music is, or what a downbeat is, or if any
you
of
don't
that
know
shit,
what music is,
yeah, you don't know what music is, and your whole life you've never heard a melody, maybe it will feel better to you, or that doesn't bug you or bother you, and therefore it's like a novel thing that you're really into. But for me, it's just like, oh, it just felt gross the whole time.
Man, it's funny that you didn't have all that great of an experience with this, because time is running out for me to complete games before we get to the Game Awards. And I've been looking at the docket, and this game might be the next game that I play, because it's relatively short by all accounts, and it seems like something that I'd be able to reasonably finish in time for the award show, and then potentially have room for something a little bit extra. I still probably will play it, all things considered, although now I wonder if I need to Hi-Fi Rush to play it.
Was it nominated for music? That was the other thing that surprised me. Was it nominated for music?
I think so.
That surprised me because the music, and I was expecting to be like blown away or like really into like how music is integrated into this stuff, and it really, I mean, some of it was licensed music, like actual music, and a lot of it was original music made by the Hi-Fi Rush team, but it's not really integrated in a way that is anything fancy. Like most of the entire levels are the same 4 bars over and over and over while you're doing shit, and then you get to the boss, and the boss has like oh, here's a 9 Inch Nails song that we're doing things to, but it's still not anything that blows my skirt up.
The game got a total of 5 nominations: Best Score in Music, Best Art Direction, Best Audio Design, Best Action Game, and Innovation in Accessibility.
Yeah, Cozy, I would say play it.
Okay.
Chad, that's fine, his opinion is valid. But as someone who beat the game and was on a podcast to talk with like 5 other people who also played it, and we all really liked it. So maybe it's just
I've only heard
thing.
good things about it. It just did not click with me.
Yeah, but but you remember, you have to be bad at music to like the game. So
that's right. Yeah,
get all that out of your head.
Yeah.
You have to not know what music is.
If you have to appreciate
the music of Hi-Fi
do not
Rush.
play this game.
No, because that's to go for it. It's short enough, and I think Chad also stopped like right where. Again, it's a dumb thing. I do think the game just gets better as you play the game. But if you're not feeling it, you don't feel it, and that's fine. Move on.
What changes about it as you go from to the last like later parts of the game?
I mean, there's new abilities. There's a level that is very heavily inspired by Persona 5.
Okay.
There's a lot of really cool stuff as you move along through the game. Really cool bosses, really tough fights. New abilities. You build out your crew. So yeah, again, I'm shocked that you didn't like it, but it's fine. Not everyone likes everything. So, but yeah, go for it, Cozy.
Yeah, so the other game that I played over the course of the past 2 weeks, excluding Alan Wake 2, which we'll get to the end, is Cocoon. This is the game that was my BARF voted game for the months of November and December. And let me tell you, guys, when it comes to indie game of the year, Cocoon is the bomb.com.
Whoa.
This game is really, really good, and I think fully deserving of all of the accolades that it has received. It's tough because like Cocoon does not have, story spoilers in the way that something like Alan Wake 2 does, but I am still hesitant to get super in detail into this game because this game has crazy ass puzzles and crazy ass solutions to those puzzles that I really, really don't want to spoil for either of you or anybody that might be listening to this podcast, because it is one of those games that needs to be seen to be believed. And also, to be honest, I feel like I would not do a very good job of describing what some of the puzzles are even like, because it is one of those games where it's like, wow, this is 4-dimensional chess on a level that I could have never conceived had I not played this game and, been able to experience it. So yeah, definitely. If you play one prestige indie game this year, play Cocoon, because that was great. And a very easy platinum. Again, I won't spoil so much in the game, but the game does this really interesting thing where, because there are no branching paths, because there are no skill trees, there's like no customizability, because it's almost purely just a puzzle experience, the game allows you to backtrack throughout its campaign via percentage. So like you can literally be like, I want to go back to where I was at 1% of the way through the campaign, 22%, 47%. And that makes it so incredibly easy to mop up any remaining trophies in it that I had missed while playing through it. So yeah, great game and very enjoyable and convenient platinum.
And short. I know the normal game is like 5. What's the platinum? 6 probably hours? Total?
Not even that. It's like 5 hours and like 10 minutes. Like that's literally how long it takes, because of the way, again, that you can backtrack through the campaign.
And I do love how, as a puzzle game, you can't really like overthink. You can't really fuck yourself. You can't be like, oh, I'm going to try to do this and it not work. Like there's basically like, oh, do the thing, and then the thing works. And like you do the thing, which I love, instead of like, well, find the combination. And I'm like, I guess I'll just sit here and enter every number possible because I don't feel like we're going to continue this level and figure it out. It's like, no, just do the thing, and then that will beat the puzzle, which is very cool.
You might be surprised to know that thebomb.com is actually, Cozy said this game was thebomb.com. and it is actually a game that has a site that has video games on it. It has like a little generic looking DualSense controller on it. It says play the bomb.com games. And they have 4 games available. One is called Sloping Path. One is called Orange Drop. There's House Painter and Starship. And these are all games you can play online at thebomb.com.
I wonder what thebomb.com is.
Hold on. Before we go to thebomb.com, I am intrigued by what's going on with thebomb.com, because you land on the website and this is what it says. We asked you, and the feedback was quite clear. You want online games on thebomb.com. We have a few games that are ready to play now, and we'll add more games weekly. If you have game requests, ideas, or feedback, please contact us. I have so many questions. Who is you? Who are the people running the website?
Alex,
what are these online games? What is any of this?
It gets better because that same language is like verbatim over and over for different things. The first one is games. As you scroll down, it's an email address. You can get your name at thebomb.com email address. And then it says, we value community input. Let us know if you jive with this idea.
Hold on a second. About the email address, here's what it says. Want your own at thebomb.com email address? Well, we want to offer it to you, ... We just don't quite know how we're going to pull that off yet.
There's also...
What are you doing?
If you scroll down...
What are you doing, thebomb.com?
There is a green bubble text message service, a joke of the day service that you can sign up for. And they will text you saying, good morning. What kind of shoes do ninjas wear? Sneakers. Have a bomb diggity day. And then the person wrote back to them, hey, I just wanted to say thank you for the great puns every day. Although it's just a bit, it makes my day better.
This is
By the way, read underneath that where it says joke of the day to see what we just keep reading this website. It gets crazy. We're talking about $300 a week. Just keep going. But anyway, go ahead, Alex.
This is either this is an NFT scam, or this is like a very all of this vagueness is like an intentional joke on the part of whoever made this to just make a very weird website. Which, if it's the latter, I respect that.
There's literally a button that says memes. Don't click this.
There's a part towards the very, very bottom that says cast your vote for personal shout outs. And the 4 votes are, I want to be on thebomb.com. My cat is thebomb.com. I don't like anyone. I'm depressed.
Oh, man. I clicked on the don't click this button, and it brought me to a YouTube video of that. I was really hoping it was going to be Rickroll, but then it says this video isn't available anymore.
We should have that redirect
on your
to
computer.
youtube.com/cozybear.
Yeah, we should.
The little girl, not you.
Right, exactly.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Alan Wake.
Alan Wake 2. So I beat it at 1 a.m. last night after 21 hours of gameplay. Alex has platinumed the thing. I'll probably have it platinumed.
I have.
By the end of tonight, probably.
The platinum, not that bad. Not as fast as something like a Cocoon, but thankfully the game does not ask you to play the game again on super hard difficulty mode. It's actually kind of surprising how few things the game asks of you in terms of platinuming it. It's not that bad at all.
I'll be honest, I got a lot of the things along the way. I explored a bunch, but there were cult stashes that I missed and things like that. Now you can it makes you make a manual save before the point of no return, and then you can go back and get collectibles. God, right. I wish I had done this all when it was daylight outside, because it is so much tougher to find these little Casey Anthony lunchboxes and everything in the middle of the night. It is really tough. So, but yeah, you're right. It's not too bad. What I have to clean up is maybe an hour or 2 worth of stuff, and I should be done with it. Alex, tell me your thoughts on Alan Wake 2, and then I'll talk to you about my thoughts on Alan Wake 2. Spoiler free, of course. Spoiler free.
Yeah, we'll try to keep it spoiler free. Here's the thing. I actually want to issue an apology.
Oh, shit.
When I was on this podcast 2 weeks ago, I talked about how I was a few hours into Alan Wake 2, and I was real strong on the game. I was like, man, this game is great. The vibes are excellent. This is truly a fantastic game. This might be one of my games of the year. And, reflecting on that podcast, I realize that that's something I tend to do a lot on Respawning Fire. I'll have come in having just played a couple of hours of a game I just started, and I'll be like, man, I'm loving it so far. I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. And on more than a few occasions, ultimately, when I got around to experiencing the rest of the game, I didn't walk away as glowing as I was after those first few hours. And so going forward as penance, I will try not to talk about these games when I've just played the first few hours of them, because I feel like that doesn't tend to reflect super well on me going forward. This game, Alan Wake 2, has a lot of great stuff going for it. The vibes are, all that said, really great. I think that the game is a real gnarly horror experience. I think that its kind of like rendition of Bright Falls is like lovingly crafted. The locations that you explore as Alan Wake are equally evocative. I think that the game does a really good job of like following up on and paying tribute to like a host of characters and plot threads that have been set up over the course of the past like 13 years since the release of the original Alan Wake, and really like doing right by them. I talked a little bit about this on Twitter shortly after I beat the game. The game reminds me a lot of Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots, in that similar story with Metal Gear Solid 4, where that game was basically serving as like a wrap-up / conclusion to like a decade plus of plot points by that point in time, trying to kind of follow up on characters that were introduced in the original Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, and trying to kind of wrap it up all in a nice bow. And I think much like Metal Gear Solid 4, it is very successful on that front. However, also like Metal Gear Solid 4, I feel like the game's combat doesn't give itself enough. The game doesn't give its combat enough time to really shine. It doesn't give the player, enough opportunities to really kind of like get used to it and really kind of jive with it. And as a result, I kind of came away from the experience being like, man, I was compelled the entire way through to see it through to the end, but I really feel like this game missed out on like really selling me on why its combat was great, even though I could tell that under the hood there was potentially a really great combat system in play. In the same way that playing through Metal Gear Solid 4, like there are so many guns in that game, so many like mechanics that the game introduces you to, so many like items and like gadgets that Snake can take advantage of. But because that game so seldomly features moments in which you can really take advantage of everything at Snake's disposal, you don't really walk away from that being like, oh man, what a fantastic stealth experience. And I feel like it's very, very similar here, but for the survival horror genre.
Yeah, I would agree with you, especially when it comes to playing as Alan, because this might have been something that I just completely missed in the first game, and maybe it's why I didn't like the first game as much as everyone else did too, but I never understood, even by the end of the game, how you're supposed to approach combat as Alan. Like, what enemies matter and what enemies don't, and do I shine the light on them, or do I refuse to shine the light on them? Do I run? Do I dodge? I never understood it, and I never felt confident in what I was doing was the right thing to do, even by the very, very, very end of the game. Conversely, though, I did feel I enjoyed Saga's combat, because her just generally, her entire storyline was more grounded and traditional a little bit, with the exception of, still using light as a tool. But yeah, I never, that kind of carries over to the rest of the systems. I'll sum up my thoughts here. The negative part of my thoughts. I'll sum up the negative, because there was a lot that I like about this game. I'll sum up the negative part of my thoughts with a metaphor. There are two ways that you can surprise an audience. You can either lead them to believe one thing and then do a reveal when the opposite is true, or something different is true, right? That's one way you can cause surprise. The other way to cause surprise is that you can disorient your audience completely, so they have no idea what the fuck is going on, so that by the end, whenever you do a reveal, you're like, oh, okay, that's what it was the whole time. And it's starting to make sense. And that's where I feel like the entire game kind of lands. I spent 15 hours in this thing, and I texted our secret Discord, which for us is just a group chat because we're old. I texted our secret Discord and just said, I don't feel like I know what the fuck I'm doing as Alan in this game. Like, I'm just going from place to place and interacting with object and object until something works and I leave a place and I don't know why I'm doing what I'm doing or how to fight. And I feel like that same thing carries over to the narrative and the story as well. Like, I had no idea what the fuck is going on or who is anything. I even watched several. Here's everything you need to know before Alan Wake 2 videos. And I'm still like, what the fuck is happening in this game? But then the last 25% of the game, I feel like I got 60% of the way there. I'm still kind of like, does anything I just did matter? I don't understand what's going on, and I don't understand the ramification. What's coming next? I felt disoriented and confused a lot of the time, but still really driven to finish this thing and see where it went, which is a good thing. So that's kind of my negative views on it. But there's a lot to like.
Yeah, you know, it's funny on the subject of the combat of this game, and you've like having a lot of difficulty with the combat in the Alan Wake sections. On the podcast I was on 2 weeks ago, I said, man, it's going to be hard to go back to the original Alan Wake coming off of this game. And now, having completed Alan Wake 2, like, there are a lot of ways in which Alan Wake 2 is a superior game to Alan Wake 1, but I actually find myself appreciating kind of how down the middle of an experience the original Alan Wake was, how much of a kind of straightforward action game and how much, at least I found its combat to be kind of easy to read. And it's one of those things where, like, going forward, like, I'm actually kind of looking forward to eventually getting to that Alan Wake 1 replay, because I feel like what that game, you know, will be lacking in terms of story and characterization compared to 2, I feel like it will make up for in terms of just the combat and the A to B of what are you doing and why are you currently doing it, being much more straightforward. But that's just me. Kayla, I know you didn't love Alan Wake 1.
No, I didn't like Alan Wake 1 a lot for the hokey dialogue, the terrible voice acting over top of all of it, and like the super melodramatic, awful voiceover. That's why I didn't enjoy it much. And then the combat, of course, was nothing like to write home about. It was super simple. But Kayla asks in the chat, can't wait to get this game. If I did not play the first one, do you think I can just jump in? I will personally say 2 things. One, Kayla, if you are Kayla, JK Games Kayla, go ask Jerica about Pody Goaties. There's a special message for you. Second thing,
specific.
I did play Alan Wake entirely, and I did play Control, including the Alan Wake expansion in there. And I watched 2 videos, and I still felt like I was unprepared. So I don't know if you have to play the first game, but you should at least watch a video, I think, of the recapping who the characters are and kind of what this lake is.
Everyone says that the game spot video recapping all of the Alan Wake lore is a really good one. So I guess that's what.
There's another good video of Sam Lake, who is creative director at Remedy and also stars in the game. There's another great video of him doing a recap on IGN that filled in a couple of gaps too that I had forgotten about or that were different too. So maybe watch both of them. They're 15 minutes each.
I'll say this, with regards to whether or not you can play Alan Wake 2 right off the bat, having not played any other Remedy games or the original Alan Wake, you know, half of the Alan Wake 2 experience is playing as Saga, who is a completely new character to the series, hadn't been in any of the prior titles, and who is uncovering the story of Alan Wake alongside you, the player. And so I'd imagine that if you were playing the game like completely like removed from any other context of any other Remedy game, you would at least be able to like connect to and find solace in Saga's character, because she's just as sort of confused as you are. She is piecing things together. Whoops, accidentally hit that. Piecing things together at the same rate at which you are piecing things together. So it might actually work from that perspective, but I don't disagree with Chad that it might be worth brushing up on a few videos first. At least
have an understanding of who Alan is, who Alice is, who Mr. Scratch is, and what the lake does. I think that's really the main things that you need to know. And then extra credit.
Not Sam Lake.
Not Sam Lake. The lake. But also, just a little bit of context about Control, the game Control too, and the Federal Bureau of Control. It's no secret, I think, that they
now
are
this
heavily
is
focused
beginning
in here.
to now this is beginning to sound like a grocery list. I gotta be honest.
So those are all covered in there. I want to talk about some good things about it. The atmosphere in this thing is obviously fucking incredible, and that's Remedy has been doing a great job of that for a long time. The universe building is really exciting. There were multiple times where I was pumping my fist in the air. In fact, I even sent a video of myself doing it that I recorded live while I got to a particular part of the game. I was just like, yes, this is so cool. So yeah, I love this extended universe that Remedy's building across all of their games, familiar faces, familiar environments or people, like those kinds of things. And then yeah, just the world building itself and the actual environments that you're in look stunning. I would say, Adam, you were talking about playing it on console versus Epic Games. Do not watch the Digital Foundry video if you plan on doing that, because I did watch that before I played it, and I watched, oh, look at all the ray tracing and shit that's available, and the reflections everywhere, and you can see the actual detail in the lace of the curtains reflected on the... And then I played the PS5 version, where the ray tracing is nowhere near that detailed, and like a lot of reflections, even on quality mode, a lot of reflections were like just kind of shimmery blurs of yourself. And I was like, oh, damn. Now I kind of wish that I was a PC nerd and I could play it on PC instead.
No, I already know my GPU can do Control with everything maxed out and whatever, but I already looked at the recommended, and I don't think I can run all the way to
Okay.
maxed out. So,
but yeah, so the environment, spooky, scary. This game is, I feel like more... I don't think it's as scary, although there are some jump scary moments of just shit that pops up for no reason. But it's more creepy, freaky than actually scary. What am I saying? I am meandering so much. Alex, talk about some good shit, and then I'll pop in with some other stuff.
Talk about some good shit. The problem is I'm trying not to, I'm trying to keep the spoilers at a minimum.
Yeah.
I will say, did have a lot of fun assembling the investigations as Saga, because obviously Alan Wake and Saga, Alan Wake can basically use storyboards to kind of rewrite the rules and narrative of the world around him. Saga can basically piece together clues from dialogue conversations, pieces of manuscript that she finds on the ground, various other things that she observes in the environment around her to kind of figure out the story as it happens. Definitely had a lot of fun with that, and I definitely liked a lot of the late game twists that come up concerning the Mind Palace, in which she does a lot of that stuff. That stuff's pretty cool.
I appreciated that a lot because of how obtuse and meandering the entire story was in general. So to be able to come back to that board and just have some concrete facts that I can group, and then once you get all the facts around one particular area, it turns blue and it gives you a little description of all right, here's the summary of this thing here. So I'm like, okay, thank you. I at least have a recap of what just happened in this particular area. So I appreciated in that. And I know a lot of people in early reviews that I heard were kind of like, I wish it was more. I wish you were actually doing detective work on this thing. And I was like, I was just happy to have that there as a recap, because otherwise I would have been completely lost. And if I had to do more shit and do detective work on that, I don't know if I would have been able to do it.
And last good thing I'll say about this game before we move on is I really do like the ways in which this game integrates the lore of the Federal Bureau of Control into its narrative. There are a lot of ways in which the Bureau is very directly intertwined into the game's narrative, and then there are a lot of fun little Easter eggs to be found here and there. And I appreciated that, because I feel like nowadays interconnected universes are becoming a little bit of a dirty word. And I think part of that reason is oftentimes with these Marvel movies, it kind of feels like every time there's some sort of tie-in crossover reference to another property, they really have to spotlight, hey, look at that. That's a element from that other thing. It's crossing over into this one. Look at that. Make sure that you see that and appreciate that. And I appreciate that this game, again, it has that more front-facing stuff that it's not hiding, but then it also has a lot of stuff that's there for if you know it, if you recognize it as such. And appreciate it.
I think that was my favorite thing about this, is the exploration of that connection between the two. And I think that's why I like this game. And I think if I went back and played Alan Wake Remastered with the lens of Control now, and the fact that they are in the same universe, which we learned from Control, so that's not a spoiler for this, then I think I might appreciate Alan Wake 1 more, because Control takes really goofy, stupid things, but somehow makes them real and also scary in its universe and grounded somehow. Like it takes, I don't remember if these are actual real things, but I know there was a flamingo, like a plastic yard flamingo that, I don't know, jumps through time and shit. There's a fake Christmas tree that eats people. There's like these stupid things in people's homes that are these objects of power and do wild things that, like, if I now go back to Alan Wake Remastered and think about this hokey dialogue and these really melodramatic, dripping, cheesy manuscripts that he's writing and the narration, and view that as just like this weird, dumb thing that's happening in the Control universe, I think I might appreciate it more, rather than just thinking, wow, this is some really terrible dialogue and some awful voice acting over a game that doesn't have great combat. So I think I might go back and, as much as I didn't like it when we played it for Barf several years ago, I think I might go back and play Alan Wake 1 Remastered.
Hell yeah.
I'm definitely 100% going back to Control, because I never played the PS5 version and it has its own separate Platinum trophy. So I'm definitely going to go back to Control right after this. After, of course, Jedi Survivor and Lies of P and Baldur's Gate 3 and
You'll get there when you get there.
And all of these other things. So, and Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VII Remake again. And
I thought we agreed to stop playing these.
And Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core. I got to do all those before February when the new one comes out, Adam.
Yeah. Go back to that mobile game that you love so much.
No, the fuck that game. Ever Crisis sucks.
Moving on to the quest log, we got 2 huge stories that'll take over under 5.1 minutes to get through. KOTOR Remake, Da Fuck Is Up, from Wesley Yunpool at IGN.com. Amid continued silence from embattled games company Embracer about the status of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic Remake, developer Saber Interactive is reportedly still soldiering? Yes. I thought for some reason it was soldering, but I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, soldering.
We're going to put this right on the motherboard.
Just put it in there with the heat. KOTOR Remake was thought dead after Embracer had Saber Interactive take over, following significant trouble at original developer Aspyr. Jason Schreier posted on X/Twitter, quote, can't say whether the KOTOR Remake will ever actually come out, but yes, two people from Saber Interactive tell me they're still on it, despite recent rumors that nobody is working on the game. According to reports, Aspyr had targeted a late 2022 release date for the remake, but insiders suggested 2025 was a more realistic target. It's now even more unclear how this project will continue. Again, Adam's just going to tap dance on the grave of Aspyr because it's funny, but I do like how the quote is that there are 2 people said that they're still working on it. Whatever that means. I would love that job. Like, there's like 4 dudes in the corner of an office. It's like, we're the KOTOR team, so we just get a free paycheck for sitting here and not doing anything because that game doesn't exist. That sounds like a great game.
Man, I hope we don't hear about this game until it's either conclusively canceled or conclusively back from the dead.
We'll see. It's not in this report, but I don't know, because I've listened to so many shows and shit. I think it was like Aspyr showed it, I think, to Sony, because Sony was publishing it because it's on PS5. Or maybe they were co-partner or whatever, and they showed it to Lucas. And they were like, no, this is not what we want. And that was probably like 2-3 years ago. And now it's like, I'm with you. Isn't it weird? Not connected to this. Do people cancel games anymore, or are they just quiet about it forever and we just assume that they die? Because I don't feel like I hear about stuff getting canceled.
Yesterday we just saw Deep Down from Capcom got their trademark not renewed, but a brand new trademark for it. Deep Down is a game that was released or that was shown off at like the PS4 reveal.
That was a PS4 launch.
That was a PS4 reveal, like launch event. They showed off.
The goose is back. He's in London.
And so that thing never got
announced
canceled.
that it was canceled.
It never got canceled, and they just made a new trademark for it. So no, nothing
and
was
that game
canceled
does
anymore.
not exist.
Nope.
Yeah. Unless the studio completely shuts down, people don't cancel games anymore.
Yep.
So we will never hear about this game getting canceled, but it will also never happen. Wild shit. All right, going on to our last story for the day. Game series hits a milestone. Anthony, what did IGN? This is also the point where Adam's like, I gotta fill this list out. We got to put something on here. Developer Don't Nod supernaturally infused episodic adventure title Life is Strange has surpassed 20 million lifetime players since its launch in January of 2015. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Read a post from the game's official account on X/Twitter. Something we are very grateful for. The original Life is Strange just hit over 20 million players. We want to thank each and every one of you for playing. So that's a thing that happened this week. 20 million for the first game specifically, not for the total franchise. Interesting, though. Yeah, that's a thing that happened.
Good for them. That's something I believe that's on Game Pass too. I think that's how I played New Colors.
They
when we
were
did
at
it for
one point.
Barf.
I know like 1 and 2 were at some point were on there. And I think True Colors as well.
Fucking goose.
Hey guys, I'm
goose.
back.
All right.
Hey.
So yeah, I'm sure after a game has been out that long that wait, Life is Strange only came out in 2015?
The first one came out in 2015, yes.
Yeah.
Why do I feel like that
2015?
game? Holy shit, we're close to death. We're so old. I literally just thought, why did I think that game came out a decade ago? And it's literally 9 years ago. So
Oh, yeah, it's right there, yeah.
That game, if I remember correctly, that was like a game that came to like PS3 and Xbox 360 like late into those consoles' life cycles. Like I remember, I played it on PlayStation 4 first, but I remember it coming to PlayStation 3 before that.
Yep. I just have no way of understanding how long ago January 2015 was.
It was 9 years ago and 2 months.
I'm going to throw up.
Cradle to the grave, baby. And that's all the stories for the week. So I guess we're going to move on to our...
Oh, I wish I could remember the janitor song from Control. Segment from Adam.
There we go. Perfect.
That janitor is such a cool guy. So this time, it's the end of the month. Hey, we're doing... I've never called it this before, but I guess Meta Monthly is what I'm calling the segment now. Where
That association with Facebook just makes me squirm. But okay.
Metacritic Monthly, I guess I'll say the whole thing. Where we go through Metacritic and see what's the best reviewed games of the month that we're currently in. So these are the best reviewed games for November. Maybe potential Pody Goaties in here. Who knows? We'll talk about it. Number 1 on the list at an 88 is the Talos Principle 2.
Which we learned from last week. Got snubbed.
It did get snubbed. It was not on any list because it probably it came out in November. So probably did not check that box. But that's probably something I'll check out at some point. Next up, at an 86, Star Ocean, The Second Story R. Which was the remake. That was like the really pretty remake of the game that I'll never play. But I had it in Fantasy League. It got me some points. I was very happy. Very cool. Number 3 on the list at an 83. Just saw. At an 83 on Metacritic. And then also at an 83, Super Mario RPG.
Oh, fuck
remake.
Yeah. All right.
Was also on here as well. And that's it. That's everything that was above an 80. That's what we're talking about. Seems like a slower month, but we're also at the end of the year. So that's fine. I would say I don't like Jusant that much. I've heard. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like, it was a game that I looked up how long to beat when I was like halfway through. I was like, okay, I'll just skip these collectibles because I'm not going to go for 100% because I don't actually care. And it's quick enough to beat. It was fine. It was cool. But I'm just in a secret Discord and there's people in there that are like, man, you guys got to play it. It's wonderful. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't think if I made a top 8 indie game of the year list, it would not be on it. But it was the 3rd best reviewed game of the month. So that tells me what kind of month it is.
Yeah.
Well, we have other months where everything's in the
it tied with Super Mario RPG, which was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is weird because like typically November is like a month for big releases during the year, and like this month did have a lot of big releases, but I feel like a lot of them like ended up in that like unenviable like high 70s range, like the like a Dragon Gaiden game or WarioWare or Persona 5 Tactica, all like good games that are purportedly worth playing, but like not quite as high as perhaps you would want them to be.
It also used to be November was like it was the month for Titanfall, for Call of Duty, for all like those kinds of things.
Yeah.
But I feel like as an industry over the last 10 years since 2015,
9 years ago.
I feel like we've discovered September. And so, like, there used to be this graveyard of nothing coming out from like June to October. But now people are like, let's not be afraid of August and September. And that's when we got Armored Core 6, and we got Starfield and Baldur's Gate, and we got all of these big hitters. And I think it's just
Mario Wonder,
earlier.
Spider-Man 2, and Alan Wake in a 7-day period.
Exactly.
Alan Wake literally like sneaking in there at the very end of October. Like, we can't release it in November. We have to get it into October somehow.
Yeah. That's so. Yeah, I think just things are moving earlier in the year, maybe for Game of the Year consideration. Now that that's becoming
true.
A bigger deal, rather than just sales on Black Friday. So who knows?
Yeah, if you're able to. I will say though, So I think by the time we record Game of the Year, it shouldn't matter. But I'm interested to see this list next month. Because where's Avatar going to be on this list? Is it going to be above an 80? Because I won't include it if it's not.
Avatar Pandora? Avatar?
Yeah. Pandora
That's coming
tomorrow. It comes out in December. I don't know the day.
No.
I think it's like end of December or something.
Why do I
that.
feel like that's still 7 years away?
Well, who knows? They might push it at the last minute. It's supposed to come out December of last year. It's coming out December this year, reportedly.
Heilige Scheiße. December 7th.
7th. Oh, so early December.
Next week.
Even better. Maybe
next
we'll
Thursday.
play it and beat it before we record Game of the Year. Maybe it gets on the list.
No.
Alex said he's going to do it.
I'm not doing it.
Did I?
You made a big deal because we weren't. I think Chad was not excited for the Avatar game. You're like, I'm going to buy it and play it just to spite you.
You know what? I don't remember saying that. Maybe I will now. Okay. Maybe I will.
It's Game Awards Day. It comes out on the day of Game Awards.
Wow.
They're like, we own this day. This is ours. But anyways, yep, that's it for Metacritic Monthly. Only one more of these. Actually, might not even do next month because we'll be having weird schedules because it's December.
Also, nothing's coming out next month.
Well, I mean, Avatar. We just discussed this coming out.
You're right.
That's the big one.
That brings us to Game on Game Show, the game on our gaming show called Game On, the gaming show on our game show, Game on Game. I messed that one up.
You just did it wrong.
I did it wrong.
You did it wrong.
I did it wrong.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Ladies and gentlemen, time.
You got me.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done. Alex, do whatever you want.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for TMI with NPD for the year 2006.
Woo! Send the month out with
a
big old disappointment with me.
Let me tell you, I am really excited for this round of TMI with NPD because the 2005 list, I gotta be honest, I thought that list was a little bit of a wash. A lot of sequels, a lot of licensed games, 3 Star Wars games somehow. Just not a very interesting list to wade our way through. And I feel like that's been true of a lot of these mid-2000s lists. The 2006 list, this is an interesting list. And that's all I'll say about that.
This was like heart of... This was the 1 year head start 360 had on PS3, right?
Yes.
Okay.
PS3 is the end of this year.
Okay.
As is the Wii.
Oh, and the Wii as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good to know.
2 little bits of housekeeping before we get into this. Number 1, the Chad lock is still in play.
Okay.
So after 2 clues into any entry on this list, you can say Chad lock, and then I will give you the right to exclusively guess what you think it is from that point on. Second thing is I'm changing up the way that we are going to deal with a game that has appeared on these lists a lot. From here on out,
Madden.
I am just going to say, up front where Madden is on the list. And when we get to that spot on the list, we'll just say, hey, here's Madden on the list. And let's go ahead and let's guess whatever game is after it, if there is a game after it.
Can I give a... Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just want to say, whenever it comes up, I know because you're writing these same Madden over and over, but when it comes up, I can, from memory, can tell you facts about that year's Madden. So we can do that instead.
You are more than open to do so, although you will not get any extra points for it. To compensate for the fact that Madden will be out of play, I've decided that we will, from here on out, start integrating the number 11 game into the list. So we will do number 11 to the first, but again, we will exclude Madden because it's just not very fun to constantly be like, hey guys, this one's a sports game. It's a game you've heard about before. It's published by EA. With that out of the way, Madden was the number one best-selling game of the year 2006.
Whoa, surprise.
So Madden 07 was number one.
And with that established as the number one best-selling game of the year 2006, let's talk about number 11. The number 11 best-selling game of the year 2006, per the NPD Group, is a shooter. It's based on the works of a now deceased author. It features a heavy emphasis on strategic coordination while completing various mission objectives. And despite what its title would imply, it's neither a Game Boy Advance game nor a Medal of Honor sequel. I will go through and I will read the clues again. The number 11th best-selling game of the year 2006 per the NPD Group is a shooter.
Tom Clancy's Advanced Warfighter?
That is correct.
I was like, what is the subtitle? What is it? It's
Yeah. I was like, Advanced Warfighter. Yeah. Okay, there you go.
There we go. 1 point for Adam. All right,
11.
number 10.
Was that it had to be a Ubi game because it's Tom
Yes.
Clancy, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
The number 10 best-selling game of the year 2006 per the NPD Group is a game that was available exclusively on the Xbox 360 and Windows for exactly 1 year. It was critically lauded at the time and is still generally remembered as one of the best games of the year it released. But it was also heavily criticized at the time for the way that some of its microtransactions...
Elder Scrolls Oblivion.
That is correct.
damn.
Horse armor, baby.
All right,
Even when it
number 9.
came to PlayStation, it didn't run, so it was still exclusive.
The number 9 best-selling game of the year 2006, per the NPD Group, is a sports game, albeit a different kind of sports game from what we have dealt with in the past.
Oh, shit. Okay.
It is the third entry in its series, and it actually has the number 3 in its title. It is an EA published game. And, fun fact, as part of a deal Nintendo had with EA Sports to have its IP appear in EA franchises, this game's direct
Street Volume 3.
That is incorrect.
Oh, okay.
This game's direct predecessor, so not this game, but the game that came directly before it, featured Little Mac as a playable character.
Fight Night Round 3?
That is correct.
Oh, shit.
Okay. Little
Well,
Mac was in 2, huh? That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, 3 points on the board for Adam. Chad, you better...
That's right. He's
Better
got
catch up.
number 11, 10, and 9. Those are the least valuable, so.
Yeah.
I'll get the top ones.
All
All
right.
right.
I got number 1.
Here we go. The number 8th best-selling game of the year 2006, per the NPD Group, is a role-playing game. It's a game that got a mixed to positive reception at the time of its release, that in the years since has been reclaimed by fans as one of the best games in its series. Despite releasing the same year as the PlayStation 3's launch,
Mass Effect
it
1?
was... That is incorrect.
Final Fantasy 12.
That is also incorrect. Despite releasing the same year as the PlayStation 3's launch, it released exclusively on the PlayStation 2 and remained a PlayStation 2 exclusive for some time. And even die-hard fans would agree that its plot isn't so simple and clean anymore.
Kingdom Hearts 2.
Kingdom Hearts.
That is correct.
Damn it.
Which, gotta say, I mean, obviously the Kingdom Hearts series has always sold well. Was not expecting it to be number 8th on this list, but
Question.
yeah, shout out.
How much time was between this one and 1? Was it
4
the massive
years.
jump between... Oh, so 2 and 3 was the massive wait. Okay.
Yeah. So Yeah, so 1 came out in 2002, 2 comes out in 2006. It's funny because it's like right at the end of the PlayStation 2's life cycle. Like, it's actually quite a bit of time between the two games. Although there was the Game Boy Advance game in between them that kind of bridged the gap.
Yeah, there was
bit.
Dream Drop Distance 352 over 6 half-and days.
No, those come
there
later.
Were
those
Final
come later.
Chapter Remix, Redux 2.8 and 2.9.
Yeah. All right.
You're right.
Here we
You're
go.
right, though.
Let's talk about number 7. The number 7 best-selling game of the year 2006 per the NPD Group is a franchise that finally managed to crack this list's top 10. And it will be the last time that it's ever at the number 7 spot on any of these lists.
Mm.
It is an Activision published game. And
Guitar Hero
3.
It is Call of Duty 3.
Oh, damn.
Which means that Adam now has 5 points on the board. Chad, your only shot of winning this at this point is to tie him by getting the next 5 all correct.
Oh, I will.
And then
I will.
I'll come up with a tiebreaker at the
I
end.
mean, he did so good last time we played. I just feel like I had to try to get back to my old ways.
That's
you
what,
know.
this. I sent him a text message right before this. It said, "Adam, I'll let you win this one. I feel bad
That's
for
what
you."
it was.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right, here we go. Number 6. The number 6 best-selling game of the year 2006 per the NPD Group is a licensed game. Its title consists of 4 words. The 4th word is adventures. The first word is the name of the property, and the second and third words refer to a name of a location from the property. I'm just getting that in there because I don't feel like either of you might immediately get it if you didn't know that. It features 2 characters on its cover art. One voiced by Larry the Cable Guy, and the other
What's going to be
by
the name
an
of this
actor
fucking game?
that appeared in both seasons of Loki.
Yeah, I just don't know what the name of this game's going to
It's
be.
Cars something Adventures.
Cars Radiator Spring Adventures?
That is correct.
Maters.
Oh,
shit.
Radiator Springs Adventures. What was this on the list? Number 5?
Number 6.
Jesus
Number
Christ.
6? What happened?
This was before the Wii too, and it was just garbage shovelware all the time.
Oh my
Wait,
god.
what platform was this on? I guess everything, right?
Yeah, it had to be,
Jesus.
Yeah, was that like a 360 PS3 launch title?
Yeah, let's see here. Cars Radiator Springs
There's
Adventures.
no-
Published by THQ. Not surprising.
Yeah,
It only says Microsoft Windows in terms of the platforms, but that can't be right.
no, there's no way to be this high on the list. Only be on Windows.
I don't know.
All
People
right.
fucking
Come to
love
everything.
Mater.
I guess so.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to number 5. The number 5 best-selling game of the year 2006 per the NPD Group is a sequel to a game on the 2005 list. It features a grand total of 68 playable characters. It was originally revealed to the public.
Lego Star
at
Wars
the-
2?
That is correct.
What? There are 68
Chad.
characters in that game?
They get
Yes.
more and more as they go on. Buddy.
Are you kidding me? That's fucking bonkers.
Yeah.
Chad, this might be a clean sweep for Adam at this point.
I knew it. I knew as soon as we got to the thousands, it was all downhill.
All right, here we go. Number 4. The number 4 best-selling game of the year 2005 per the NPD Group
2006.
is a sequel. Yes, correct. 2006.
Okay.
That was a typo on my part. Is a sequel to a game that did not appear on the 2005 list. So the opposite of Lego Star Wars 2. It's a game that features music
Guitar Hero 2.
by... That is correct.
Yeah, that's got to be on here.
Wow. Chad, the combo breaker. Good job.
Bam.
Was 1 on consoles? I feel like I only remember that game being popular when 2 came out.
I only remember 2.
Yeah.
I think I might have Guitar Hero 1 on PS2, but I don't know. All right. Number 3. The number 3 best-selling game of the year 2006 per the NPD Group is a sports game. It features former USC player Reggie
NCAA
Bush.
Football 07.
That is correct. All right.
It was on the tip of my tongue. I was this close.
Excuse
I was this close.
You know who Reggie Bush is, right?
Yeah. It's the part of the woman that is where the babies are made.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's a name for it.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Number 2, although this is technically the last one. The number 2 best-selling game of the year 2006, per the NPD group, is a shooter.
Halo 3.
Incorrect.
Okay.
Gears of War.
That is correct.
Oh, shit. Really?
Look at that.
In its
Number 2.
first year, a new property.
Yeah, I'm just going to read the prompts I made for
go
this
for
one. It's the first game in a long-running series that has not had a new entry since before the pandemic. Its protagonist is known for wearing a do-rag, and one could say that its events take place in a mad world.
I'm surprised that made it to number 2, right behind old trusty Madden.
Yeah.
Being a brand new IP on a console that has only been out a year, so like probably didn't have a ton of install base on it. That's impressive.
Well, you have to probably assume, because remember 360 was hot as fuck. This is probably for the end of... they probably marketed it as like, this is the Xbox game for the, the console that everyone was buying at the time. I mean, I'm shocked
and it
number
didn't
2
launch
as well.
with Halo, did it?
No. I think that... Don't want to spoil it. That might
launched
be
with
next time.
Perfect Dark Zero and
Yeah. So this was probably the first big, like, pay attention to this video
If
game.
you get an Xbox, this is like one of your 3 things that you can get. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So some other highlights from the list. At the number 12th spot, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, which I was a little bit
Cross-gen,
shocked
right?
to see it. So it was cross-gen, but I don't remember if the GameCube version came out that same year or like the following year.
Okay.
I was a little bit surprised to see it at the number 12th spot, but like the problem is right, it only came out towards the end of the year. And also like the Zelda series actually didn't sell that well until we got to Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild really like exploded, but the series was like, it always sold well. It didn't sell like incredibly well, especially compared to big hitters like Madden and so on. The number 14 spot, we have New Super Mario Bros. DS. And at the number 16 slot, we have Final Fantasy 12.
There's 12, yeah. Is that the MMO one? Or one of the MMO
No,
ones?
11's the MMO. Well,
It's 11 and
14.
14. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
12 is... That's not the one that no one likes.
Zodiac Age. I've not played. I've played the first couple hours of 12, and I couldn't.
I know
get
people
into
don't like 13. That's what they don't like. What's her name? Lightning.
Yeah, it's Lightning. Yeah.
12,
Lightning McQueen.
I've not played. I've not played Final Fantasy 12, but my understanding is that it's very similar to Kingdom Hearts 2, where people felt mixed about it at the time, but I feel like there's been a like resurgence of people reclaiming it and being like, actually, it's really good. But again, I have not played
Once
it.
people realize it's been 20 years, then they question their mortality and think it was good, just like Chad did earlier in today's podcast.
Yes.
And that is all for TMI with NPD for the year 2006. Join us again in 2 weeks for 2007.
Awesome. Thank you, Cozy, for a Game on Game Show. And that brings us to the end of episode 333 of Respawn Aim Fire. Your homework is getting less and less as we get towards holiday break, so you don't have to worry about going to vote for Barf. You've already voted. In fact, Alex played Cocoon. I played Hi-Fi Rush and Alan Wake 2, and Adam is going to play Alan Wake 2 as well for our Barf games. The survey is closed for those of you who would like a small something physical in your mailbox who are patrons over at patreon.com/respawnaimfire. So those will be going out here in the next week or so, and you'll be getting them in the mail. So keep a lookout for those if you were one of the people who responded to that. What else? Oh, if you are also a patron over at patreon.com/respawnaimfire, you right now have a few more days of exclusivity to look at our Who Wants to Be a Millionaire inspired Locked and Loaded series, which is, again, just knocked it out of the park. Alex Kozina exclusive gig. So go check that out. Everyone else, you can view that starting on December 1st-ish, depending on whether we get all the settings turned around in time. For those of you who are patrons, you are getting a new one for the month of December, which is being recorded tomorrow, correct? No, Tuesday. We're recording that on Tuesday.
Correct.
So we're recording that Tuesday. It'll go up end of the weekish for you as well. So you'll have, again, exclusive access to that for the month. And final couple of thoughts. Go to kindoffunny.com/upandcomer and write in a little bit about Alex there, specifically for behind the scenes stuff. Some little OBS work. Go to youtube.com/AlexCozina and view that little girl's 3 45-second videos.
And then you can go to Alex Cozina
7231.
And you can find my channel. 7231, correct.
Sorry, it was youtube.com/CozyBear is her. youtube.com/CozyBear7231 is you.
Yes.
Yeah. So go check those out. I think that's it, everybody. Alex, what's the name of your Twitch channel again that people can subscribe to right now in anticipation of it going live later?
It is twitch.tv/CozyBearLive. KOZIBEARLIVE.
I wonder if that little girl who made that YouTube channel 16 years ago is the same person who has that Twitter and the same person who has twitch.tv/CozyBear. You think she ever got older?
Maybe.
Or is she still that little girl 16 years later?
No, she was brutally murdered 15 years
Today,
ago.
she's Michelle Obama.
Real quick, so that people don't get confused when they try to look it up. To search up the correct channel, you have to do youtube.com/ the @ symbol, CozyBear7231.
Right.
Yeah, you need the @ symbol in there.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Until next time, here's our usual sign off. Chickens don't clap.